Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of our political recap. My name is Trups LP, and joining me, as always, is my lovely co-host, Omegon. Please say hello, Omegon.
Hello, Omegon.
How is Omegon?
Relieved.
I don't know why, but okay.
My sister's wedding was on Monday. We travelled up to Scotland on Sunday, came back on Tuesday. I got absolutely wrecked with my mate Dave on Saturday. In fact, we played a Euro Truck together on my Omegon Plays channel, drinking
Oh yes, how did that go?
and more, and we drank a lot. There were 4 empty bottles of whiskey by the time we were done.
Oh, good.
Yes, it was thoroughly. It was quite...
No, there's
Sorry?
responsible things going on.
Yes, no drink driving, everyone, unless you're me and you're playing a simulation game. Made the bus journey very uncomfortable because my stomach was killing me. The wedding was a lot of fun. Everyone had a good time. I look amazing in a suit. Yep. Drank lots of a drink. I've got the bottle actually because we took the empty bottle. We brought bottles of whiskey with us and we were like, we'll drink those. We didn't touch them. They're all unopened still, in fact. No, one we tried and then we gave it to someone else because it was disgusting. The drink that we found behind the bar that was given a shot of is called Kendall Mint Cake Liqueur. Tastes like After Eight Mint chocolate, which is it's just nuts. It's amazing. And I kept the bottle and I thought either I put some lights in it or I just refill it as a little... Yeah, I tried to steal a Claymore as well, but it didn't work. Tried to steal some... No, not steal. I tried out some food I'd never had before. I wasn't cringed out by the ceremony, so I guess it's a win.
Yes, it certainly sounds like a win.
And empty house now. My sisters and their children have all gone on holiday for a week. So at the house myself,
good.
Which is fantastic. How's Trups?
Trups is all right. Trups has been working, so it's kind of just been like one of those meh moments. The grind gets to you after a while.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it do be like that sometimes. That's okay.
Fingers crossed things pick up for you.
I'd like that.
I would too. Where should we start, Trups?
Okay, so obviously everybody knows that probably the majority of our conversation today is going to be talking about Afghanistan.
Yep.
However, to save our sanity from talking about basically an hour and a half worth of Afghanistan, would you like to touch on some of the other things that we mentioned? Like, for example, Biden instructs Education Department to take appropriate action against governors who ban school mask mandates.
What kind of action are we talking about?
So that's a great question, but he says use legal action if appropriate. Now, this is actually rather interesting because the University of South Carolina actually recently had done a mask mandate for their school campus, and then proceeded to not walk it back per se, but they were sued by the state attorney. Let me see here. USC lawsuit. Yes. The Attorney General says lawsuit over USC mask mandate should be thrown out. So it probably wasn't the Attorney General, but it was somebody else. But basically, the idea being that, well, of course, the mask mandates that USC had put into place, the one attorney is suing them because they say, no, that's against the executive order. And now the Attorney General says, no, you can't do that.
I don't
know if he actually can't do that, but
I still don't understand what Biden could do to force states to do something at all.
Well, that's a good question, because we've talked about this as mask mandates had become part of the news for a while now, that the idea of federalism and that states can dictate themselves. Unfortunately, many of the states basically look to the Supreme Court when it comes to creating a lot of their more strenuous law. And unfortunately, the person who had recently been added to the Supreme Court, what's her name? Oh God. The woman who was supposed to replace Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the Christian lady.
Oh, I know you're talking about, but I don't remember who it was.
Well, anyway, she basically had tossed back, saying that it was fine when individual schools
Boebert?
did. Yeah, no. Boebert is a senator.
My mistake.
Um,
I just had a name in my head, and I don't know who it was.
Amy Coney Barrett.
Oh, Coney Barrett. Yes.
Yes. So she had thrown back a mask mandate. She refused to block Indiana University's vaccine mandate. So they are using that as a jumping off point to say that schools have the right to internally handle their own basically their own students and how they want to essentially conduct themselves. Here's the issue, though. University of South Carolina, in particular, is a public and state school.
Right.
So if it were something like, let's say, Columbia University in New York City, where they were a private institution, I believe Columbia is private, then I could see a excuse to pass this along and maybe get away with it. But because we don't see that with a public school, I wonder if the Attorney General actually is correct when he says that the lawsuit should be thrown out. I lean on the side to say that no, everything deserves to be heard. I really don't like it when courts throw out cases that have merit because of lack of standing.
Right.
So the idea that an argument might be worth having, but because of the bureaucracy of the courts, they are either lacking in a substantial amount of individuals who are harmed or something like that.
Okay.
So that right now, that's what Biden wants. Now, of course, this was instructed. Biden instructs Education Department to take appropriate action. This was put out on August 18th. So, August 18th. What possibly could have he been focusing more effort on? Oh, I know. He could have been focusing more on the main topic, but he wasn't. He was worried about this.
It's priorities.
Yes, priorities.
Then again,
very, very good.
Then again, I've seen some amazing fumbles this week from a certain Biden, and I've seen everyone else, all the mainstream medias, try and cover it up.
Oh, desperately.
We'll get to that later.
That reminds me, did Biden actually have his news conference today?
He had a conference recently, I believe.
He was supposed to have one today at 1 o'clock.
I saw.
He moved it. He moved it.
Okay, he moved it. All right, well, that's nice of him.
But yes, so we have a couple of instances there that are interesting with Biden's priorities going in a different direction. Ironically, we haven't heard much on infrastructure since this the Afghanistan situation has gone on. So I wonder if there's more news that has been going on that we haven't been hearing about, because in our country, and I'm sure yours, Afghanistan has been everything. The major topic.
The major topic, yes, but there have been a couple other things that have cropped up. Not many, but a few.
Sure. And a lot of them end up talking about basically the abuse of civil rights.
Oddly enough, abuse of power as well.
Yeah.
So for that, I guess I could transition, if possible, with to Scotland. Just for the sake of it, I went to Scotland for my sister's wedding. We're at Auchen Castle, which apparently is barely in Scotland, according to Telled Feature. Had my sister not said no, he would have hung out with us. We could have had a bit of fun. But one of the guys behind the bar, who was a lifelong Labour voter, and I had this incredibly lengthy, let's call it a discussion charitably, shall we? where a
Sure.
lifelong Labour voter who throws his full support behind Nicola Sturgeon, and during my conversation with him, he treated her as nothing but a living saint. Even when he admitted that they got some things wrong, she was still indestructible, and all the good things she's done so much good, even though he fundamentally disagrees with the nanny state and curtailing of free speech. He thinks she's a goddess. We don't assume gender of gods here.
Gods can be whatever the fuck they want.
She is omnipotent and omnisexual to him. And
Omnisexual.
sure.
In before omnisexual is a legally recognized gender.
Honestly, it would just be a
probably
picture.
is.
Probably just be a picture of Nicola Sturgeon.
Yeah.
Wee Jimmy Cranky being.
I was going to say David Bowie, but all right.
The Bowie bulge. But yeah, so this discussion was entertaining for me because it stopped. Basically, my family knew I was doing it. I was doing it, so he wouldn't then bleed the conversation to everyone else. So the entire hour and maybe 20 minutes I stood there talking to him, I was drinking quite a bit, and I was just mocking him. I don't think he realised, because you can't say you're a lifelong party member of a different party while fully supporting everything the SNP are doing when they're not the same party as the ones you vote for. It's very strange to me. So it is with that spirit in mind of the SNP, we go to them now because, well, they've agreed a power-sharing deal with the Greens, because what Scotland really still needs is a one-party state. Yep. I like the idea of having a pro-independent supermajority in a party in a country. It really makes it easy to hold them accountable, and nobody will go against them. Legitimately nobody. So with the SNP, they have decided, because of coronavirus and the Coronavirus Act, they are now seeking to make the emergency COVID powers permanent. Now this means retaining the powers, which include the ability to order businesses and schools to close, along with imposing lockdowns instantly. And I disagree with this. I disagree with this. They're currently in a stage of consultation. This is how we know they want to make it permanent. And their belief is that it will help ministers respond quickly to any future threats to public health in Scotland.
Yeah, but isn't that what the idea of having emergency powers when emergencies happen? Isn't that the entire fucking point?
Yes, emergency powers. I liked it when I saw this. My favourite replies were the false equivalences, but I got the point. It was when okay, so I'll read one of the tweets. Didn't a certain country in Europe, circa 1936, start passing this type of legislation?
Oh no! Yes, of course.
Now, obviously, it's a false equivalence. I know you can't really compare the two. But I get I get the point, though. I know. But I do understand the point they're making. If you can just ignore the inevitable reply of, but there's 6 million Jews. That's not the point they're trying to make. Sheeple. What do I know? So this is a bad idea. If they push ahead with it, it's a bad. It sets a bad precedent. It also then continues the belief that the SNP are creating a nanny state, a one-party nanny state. And it's somewhat ironic for a party that continually bleats onto the British government that they themselves are guilty of a power grab, the British government that is, when they themselves are possibly trying to set up a power grab where they can control the lives of everyone to such a spectacular degree. It's not. And in the YouTube chat, Horny Hippos has mentioned the UK government will do the same. Yeah, they probably will try. And I will mock that as well. I will say outright, it's a bad idea for them as well. Had it not been for what's been going on in the Middle East this week, I think that probably would have been on the docket. You never know. Godwin's Law, you lose if you bring up 1940s Germany. Or about 1936.
Mm,
I,
there you go.
I don't know what Godwin's law is actually. Is that
Godwin's law is that the longer an argument goes on, the more likely you are to reference Nazi Germany.
that's a fair point. I mean, I'm not going to bother trying to explain that again because it's the same thing I'll say twice over again. Yep, I'm that guy. I'm not going to do that. What do you think is going to happen in with these coronavirus? Do you think people will try and push for this in other countries, like even your country, for example?
Oh, absolutely, they will. Absolutely.
Can
You
it become
see,
federal?
people. What?
Can it become a federal law?
I mean, yeah, sure, it can be if they push it through the Senate and actually. I don't think that we're going to like actually let it happen,
I don't think you
but
could in your country because you actually do you cherish that freedom thing. It's
yeah,
almost
that's true.
a whole constitutional right that would kind of go contrary to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's two parties with the Greens. Fair point. It's not as if the Greens have continually and quite religiously, zealously, in fact, backed the SNP every single time. Because they're the ones that are the easiest to roll over and whose bellies are easy to rub. Easiest, even. Who needs to bring up Germany when there's China's social credit system? You know what? It's a good point. And yes, the difference between citizens and subjects. Yes, that's why that's the thing with Scotland. They are a devolved administration. They treat their people as a citizen, but they're not at the same time. The Queen has no jurisdiction there, therefore they're not a subject to the Crown. And by the way, fun fact: Scotland is one of the oldest nations to ever exist. It was never conquered by the Romans. That's what that idiot I spoke to at the wedding told me. Yep, the oldest being Hungary. Yay! I'm so exciting. Thank you for sharing this information with me. I don't care.
No, but the SNP is literally trying to take over all powers of their country.
Yeah, I mean, it's inevitable at some point they will get an independence vote again. It is inevitable. There is no version of this where they don't get one because of the majority that the SNP hold in Scotland. That majority, if it gets any bigger, almost becomes a mandate on its own. So if they do vote to leave, that's fine, but then they won't have those same one-party powers because people at the SNP are really dumb in this regard. Because they seem to forget... well, actually, maybe they're smart at the same time. With all these power grab ideas and the continued push for more authoritarian laws, they are perhaps protecting themselves. But when the SNP have served their purpose, i.e. nationalist independence, to then rejoin the EU, which they won't be able to do straight away anyway, no matter how many times that silly barman told me they could. It's a lie. When they've served their purpose, what happens next? Do they seek to be a sustainable party? Or will the people finally see through their shit and suddenly decide, okay, well now we need to vote for somebody else? And I'm gonna actually use Godwin's law, but not in the way you might think. So I'm taking it back that far, but I'm going to point out that when Winston Churchill ran the country during World War II, the election was held a year later after the war, and he was voted out because he had served his purpose. Mm-hmm. Now, yes, 5 years later, because Labour suck, he got voted back in.
Well, you guys needed a short, angry man to win a war. You needed a wartime president.
This is the point, though. The SNP are serving their purpose. And so because of that, when they get independence, because I do believe they will, the SNP become nothing more. So any ideas they have die with them. I'm quite happy for them to do that because I think it's amusing.
Well, I'm sure the Scottish people would like that. I actually have not heard so much coming from your country in terms of vaccine passports and fighting as much as I had heard a week prior.
So there's a reason for that.
Okay.
Parliament has been on a recess, and it was only called back for what happened this week. That one thing brought them all back, and I mean every single one, to the point where there's an investigation because over 600 MPs were in a chamber, and none of them were wearing masks. Oops. Well,
Oh,
okay, some were, but not all. I do want to just with the Scotland thing. There are a lot of complaint. The biggest and obvious point when it comes to Scotland about their economy is, first of all, they provide us with water. That is true. They're one of the biggest reservoirs. True, 100% true. That's not a bargaining chip, but it can become one if they become independent. That's fine. We do need their water. But their economy itself does not prop up our economy when you look at what they put into the economy and what they get out of it. Actually, they wouldn't be able to function because they wouldn't have they'd have to create their own currency first. They'd have to create their own economy, which is dependent on the UK. And I know someone's going to get really upset that I've said this and be all anal about every minute detail. I'm generalizing because I don't have a 4-hour stream to talk about this. I have a 1 hour and a bit stream. But please do take offense and write it in the comments to drive up the engagement. I really appreciate it.
I like it just because I like to see you spurg.
It's hard to spurg when I know someone's going to be that anal.
Oh no, not you. I meant the comment section. I thoroughly enjoy it when
I prefer it when they do it to you in the live chat. It's more fun.
Oh, fair point.
But we don't see them anymore because you drove them out.
I don't know. I didn't even do anything that bad.
No, I think it's just because people think if I'm going to do a politics stream, I should always be in agreement with somebody, and I'm just no.
No, you don't have to be.
I don't. Also, we've been doing this for what, 2, 3 millennia?
2.5 years or so.
Yeah, it's been a while. I mean, that's longer than some shows.
True. That being said, I think that we're never out of content.
No, and that's excuse me. That's a handy aspect of politics, especially on this channel. I know that, for example, I haven't made any YouTube videos for this channel for a few weeks. Wedding to precedent. But now the wedding's over and I have an empty house. Videos are back on. Oh, but Parliament's in recess. Great. Either I talk about the Taliban or I talk about coronavirus, and I can't imagine either getting approved for monetization. Can a single MP do something a little controversial that's nothing to do with this, please, so I can get some sweet views? I just want clicks, yo.
I feel that, and you're not the only one.
How long has it been since your last video?
Since before the election.
Oh, jeez. My name is TrupsLP, and I am a non-addicted YouTuber.
My name is TrupsLP, and I don't YouTube very good.
Well, hello, TrupsLP.
Yeah, that's basically how it goes. And I'm not even that upset about it. It's just is.
Fact of life, isn't it?
Yeah, basically.
Sorry, I may have just yawned again. I'm not tired. Shut up.
Yeah, that's what you keep telling yourself.
So what else are we going to talk about?
I think it's time to just go straight into it. I think it's time.
Fine.
All right.
So what's happened, Trups?
Okay. So this takes a bit of an explanation, I just realized. So we need to talk about first the fact that we have pulled out completely out of Afghanistan. Okay.
Well, it's been 20 years in the making.
This was I'm sorry?
It's been 20 years in the making.
Yes, truly. So we had this plan was put in place. It was negotiated by the Trump administration, and what we have right now is it was a plan put in place by the Trump administration, according to Biden. However, the original plan was that we would leave a sort of air support for the Afghan people.
Okay.
And we did not do that. In fact, we pulled out all of our assets. We airlifted our entire embassy off the fucking roof. Once again, even though Biden said that we were not going to do that.
Okay.
We pulled out of, I think it was Kandahar. No, Bagram Air Base. in the middle of the night, leaving behind, I think it was over 800 million or 200 million, some number. We left behind a bunch of equipment. And the varying numbers of equipment, it keeps changing as people keep trying to get the Biden administration in gotchas. So maybe it's best that I just say a number as opposed to a specific number, because I really don't know. No, Wildling, that was a bad pullout game for sure. No, the bad pullout game was Hunter Biden.
Oh, you mean the guy who served in the Navy?
No, Hunter Biden being
that was a Biden gaffe.
Joe, that was the worst Biden gaffe in my opinion. Because I'm an asshole. So we have so we pulled out everybody. And in the wake of airlifting everybody out of the embassy, we get news that within 48 hours of the Taliban taking the first provincial capital, I don't know which one it was, we get news that they have basically marched into the capital of Afghanistan in Kabul, taken control of the presidential palace. The president of Afghanistan has fled out of the country
with $139 million in cash.
Yeah, with $139 million in cash, and their army left to defend themselves without a president. Some of them desperately trying to do something. I bless them for trying to do their best for their country.
Mm-hmm.
I give them a fuck ton of credit.
They deserve it.
Yeah, they do. And you have videos popping up all within the last 3 or so days. Mm-hmm. of people desperately running towards the airport. They are desperately running towards Kabul airport to try and escape the Taliban, which has walked in and has been outright said to be, while chanting "Death to America," they seem friendly for now.
Well, that's that. I did see a video of a woman give her baby to someone who was getting on a plane just so the child could get out, which I find quite terrifying. I know that the Taliban have been targeting journalists. They've been targeting women. I did put it in our, I think I put it in our server, a tweet. Nancy Pelosi, the U.S. international community and the Afghan government must do everything we can to protect women and girls from inhumane treatment by the Taliban. Here's the contradiction, though. As we strive to assist them, we must recognize that their voices are important and respect their culture.
Unfortunately, a lot of people have made these bad takes. I mean, really bad takes. I mean, they have described the Taliban as somebody that we just need to understand. We just need to give them space. And all of these things just, they piss me off to no end, right? The idea that, because we have to remember, right, the people we are talking about is a terrorist organization.
Yep.
Right? A terrorist organization that is based in Islamic fundamentalism.
Yep.
At what point do we believe that these individuals have the Afghanis' best interests in mind? This is a genuine question that I have asked myself when reading all of this crap.
I guess it depends on your interpretation of best interests of the Afghani people, especially when it comes to control.
Okay, so let's just say the citizens who are not part of the Taliban.
Mm-hmm.
What do we, as the outsiders, what do we expect from the terrorist organization?
Damage, pain, suffering, misery, and a complete lack of, the very rights we've been trying to instill within the
Yeah.
country for 20 years in favour of antiquated ideals that even they themselves fail to adhere to, as in the Taliban.
So, if that is what we are currently up against, how much time do you think we should give them before they, understand, the proper etiquette of teaching or respecting women?
So we like the term we don't negotiate with terrorists. I use it on my nieces all the time when it comes to them refusing to eat vegetables. They are terrorists to me, not the vegetables, my nieces. I
Ah,
apply.
yes,
I
the
apply.
terrorist vegetable.
Right. I think the vegetables are fantastic. Had butternut squash the first time. It's delicious. So the issue here is the Taliban have the exact same mentality. They won't negotiate with us because to them we are the terrorists, because we are trying to impose upon them ideas that they cannot agree with. But as I've said, they are hypocrites. They are absolute hypocrites. And they know they are. So they will pull the trigger long before anyone else pulls it. Because we want to exhaust options that they're not willing to go near. Because to do so means to go against their very beliefs. And they truly believe their faith, or their interpretation of it, enough that they're not going to sit here and talk to us about it. I was wondering when Parliament was recalled in the UK, when Jeremy Corbyn stood up to say something, I was wondering if he was going to stand up and suddenly be the pacifist again. But I have yet to see what he said. I'm going to look for it, though, because he's a massive pacifist, and he believes you should always open up to discussion rather than violence. And I don't know. I don't think you can talk to these people. And so then when it comes down to what you do next, the response needs to be swift, because you cannot negotiate with people who will not talk to you.
Mm-hmm. So I have some I have some issues, unfortunately, because I don't know how much I can actually believe from the news and from Twitter, obviously.
Yeah.
I have a hard time because there's so much that is being reported about just the whole place in general, right? That I have a hard time piecing through what I could actually believe, because there's, not all of them are blue check marks who are writing out like some of these important things, and not all of them are supplying video. But what I can tell you is that the Afghani people, when they realized that the U.S. was evacuating everybody, were so concerned about the Taliban coming back that they risked their lives jumping on the fuselage of a C-17 military transport aircraft, only to get knocked off. And that has video.
So
and that's fucked.
I've got some things I'd like to add to this then. I know Sweden had said they will not take in Afghani refugees because they took in enough.
Fuck y'all.
They took enough last time from from Syria. Hungary won't let anyone in either. Some are trying to get in through Poland, but they put the military on the borders to refuse it. I've got what Jeremy Corbyn said now, by the way. 10 years ago, Corbyn actually said in Parliament that he felt that we should have pulled out then, because we're wasting money. Instead, we should be taking a diplomatic approach.
Oh, sure.
Well,
we didn't need to do world building. We didn't have to do nation building.
No, we didn't. And he believed a multinational effort was required. So he has said, we must play our part in welcoming people seeking safety and work with our neighbours to develop a multinational plan to help refugees rather than tightening borders as is currently taking place across Europe. Earlier points about Sweden and Poland there. Too often rejecting...
Honestly?
Go on.
Honestly, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And here's why. Y'all fucking... I say y'all, but, you guys in European countries, you guys made it a fucking big deal that Europe wasn't taking in enough refugees when it was convenient. Yeah, but and as some have aptly put, we'll take in 6,000 Afghanis, but we won't even look at Cuba. Which, by the way, I haven't heard much about Cuba in a while.
We'll get to that if you want later. So, continuing his quote, too often rejecting military intervention is conflated with taking no action at all. As well as resettling refugees, I will be making the case in Parliament this week for the UK to play its part in a robust diplomatic effort that engages regional powers to ensure stability. This will need to cover humanitarian support, a response to rising extreme poverty, respect for human and civil rights, especially those of women and girls, and real self-determination for Afghanistan. Chances of that working exactly... Okay, so open your hand. Whatever's in your hand should be nothing. Is the exact percentage chance of it actually succeeding. You're right. There's fuck all chance of it succeeding. My earlier points are applicable here. You have no chance because there's nothing in your hand that says you can make this work, unless it's your hookah, in which case we have a chance.
No, I have nothing in my hand.
Good. As is the case with Corbyn, he did exactly what I expected. Oh, we should always just talk. To the very people that if you approach them and try to have a conversation, they put a bullet in your brain. They won't hesitate. How can you be this thick? This isn't even controversial.
Well, sorry, my brain went somewhere else with that comment.
Honestly, there's only so many times I can be nice about it. You have to be dumb to continually believe you can open up a conversation or a dialogue with the Taliban. It's not worked before, and it's not going to work now. And as a consequence for this bullshit, people are dying again. And yes, they were still dying, especially those serving, but now it's because they have to run away. Because nobody prepared for that, did they? They just pulled out.
Nope.
And it happened. Thing is, people had time to react, and they didn't. Not the people who are now running. We're talking about the people in higher office who didn't act sooner.
Oh, the ones who could have done something earlier.
Yes.
Or, tried to actually save our people. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, who would have... I mean, the only way to clear your ledger then, I guess, is to welcome a few thousand refugees. That'll totally make up for it, right? At least this time we know that they'll actually be refugees, right? We're not going to get any more economic migrants, are we? No.
Of course not.
No.
Why would we get that?
I'm not annoyed by this, by the way, if you couldn't tell. I'm genuinely not annoyed.
Me either, dude.
So Joe Biden...
Yeah?
He's promised to get them all home.
Mm-hmm. He did say that, didn't he?
So far, the US has evacuated 13,000 people in what they've dubbed one of the largest, most difficult airlifts in history. Along with 50 to 65,000 Afghans who assisted US troops. Now, that's noble. Of course it is. That's obviously for the Americans to decide whether or not they support. I mean, I don't take issue with it because they're helping, but it's a difficult area to navigate. During that same press conference, though, Biden slipped up, didn't he?
Sorry, you'll have to be a little bit more specific.
It's hard to be specific.
Can you tell me which press conference?
The more recent one.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, he slipped up, definitely. How would you describe his slip up?
Well, I guess it depends. Is it on par? It can't really be considered on par with that of the Navy and his son. But it's the kind where enough time was granted that everyone else was able to, let's say, cover it up. Which I find to be incredibly... I mean, it's led to an increase of articles in my country saying, how is this geriatric still in office? He clearly can't pass a mental, that test, that head test they do.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Comprehension thing, I don't know. Whatever,
something like that.
Yeah, whatever that test is called that tests his brain. Some have even gone so far as to point out the, what was it? He had was it a stroke? 2 strokes. In fact, he probably is.
I don't know about that, but I won't doubt you.
They mentioned some things about that, about some kind of brain issues he had, and mentioning this is why he fumbles, really. Okay. I mean, that doesn't mean he's any more competent president than anyone else, really, does it? But as correctly pointed out by Stephen in the chat, at least they stopped Trump's mean tweets. Yes, that's very nice of them.
Yes, at least they did that. That's true.
Yeah, we've got to keep his hate speech.
What would we have done without if Trump was still mean tweeting?
I have a query, actually, before we continue on this. Say in 2024, Trump wins the election, yeah? Well,
Sure.
he's been yeeted off Twitter. Does he then get access to the POTUS Twitter account, or will he be banned from using it?
No, they have outright said that even if Trump were to win again, they weren't necessarily going to bring him back into the fold.
Try and imagine my shock.
Mm-hmm.
Cognitive test. Well, spelled incorrectly, but I'll take it. Thank you. Cognitive test. Yes. So how do you Okay. I know what I'm trying to say. It's saying it. It's not even that complicated. How would you assess the US's response to this situation?
Okay, so this is at first I was just angry, right?
Why?
But so I was just angry because we left so many people behind. We left people who had risked their lives, who had basically faced their boogeyman, their literal boogeyman, and said, for the things that you are promising me, America, I will risk this. I will risk my life, the lives of my family, for the possibility of a better life. Okay. They all saw that, and they said, you know what? This risk is worth taking. And then we up and left. Just gone. Right? And we left them all high and dry with no hope of getting back. If we had kept an embassy there for a little bit longer, perhaps. But yeah, we might have faced a Benghazi moment where our embassy would have been attacked. Okay, I get it. There are other situations that could have taken this on. But our original pullout date, and I don't mean the original one, I mean the original one that Biden had asserted, that one was supposed to happen in, I believe it was September 11th specifically. He moved it up. I don't know why he moved it up, but he moved it up to whatever the fuck it was, last Sunday.
Do you just have another question relevant to this? I saw a lot of people on Twitter and in the news blaming the situation in the Middle East on Trump and claiming this is not responsibility of Biden. Do you believe that to be true or not?
No,
why,
absolutely not.
Why not?
Because eventually, well, even Biden said this, right? He said the buck stops with me. You're right, it does. And that's just the end of it. They can blame Trump all they want, but Trump has not been in power since January. So there's only so much that you could blame this man for. And I know people are still going to do it. But realistically, you can't keep just, saying that it's his fault. Eventually, you have to take responsibility for the actions that were taken by your administration. And your administration decided not to go with the May deadline that Trump had sent, but you wanted to push it up to September 11th. Then you wanted to pull it back to whatever the fuck it was on, Sunday, the 15th of August. They have no one to blame but themselves.
I get the gesture of September the 11th, but as is clearly seen now, it was never attainable. The Taliban were just waiting.
I don't know if they were even just waiting or
if they pushed.
Well, some have asserted that it was that we were bullied out.
Well,
So
it
that the
wouldn't really
Taliban
matter,
had.
really, because either way, the idea of a specific date, a symbolic date of September the 11th, is still redundant because you were never going to leave the country in a good place.
Fair, but I think it's even though the significance of September 11th and pulling out of Afghanistan, um, it would have given our administration more time to think and prepare, and
Yeah.
maybe even evacuate some of these Afghans before our troops. Kind of like where our troops have been touted in history as being called the last ones out.
Hmm.
That those are statements that have been said about our military in the past.
Really?
We're the first ones in, the last ones out.
Is that applicable here?
Well, no, we were the first ones out.
In that case,
And
you might want to your country might want to reconsider this one.
right. Well, that's kind of my main complaint is that yeah, that's what they said. They did tell us those things, but how much did they believe it? Clearly not enough.
Where's the honor in being the first ones out, and you hadn't even got your own people out?
Well, that's the crux of it all, isn't it? Unfortunately, there's not much that can be done about it now, except to go back in and get the people out, which is what some people have already been saying that we need to do. Basically, to send in our boys once more, which we have done. We I think we put in 9,000 troops to secure the Kabul airport to make sure that these guys can get out. But the stupid thing, and the thing that pisses me off the most, is that we are looking at a situation that also has we're negotiating with the Taliban from a U.S. standpoint. We are negotiating with the Taliban to say, please don't touch our people, please let them through, and that's what we're telling them.
Mm-hmm.
We are begging the Taliban to let our people escape. This is the most tail tucked between your legs fucking bullshit. The part that pisses me off the most is we have the capability. We have the capability to go in there and utterly fuck up that airport. But we're not doing that. I don't know why. Well, I mean, I do know why, but we're not doing that.
So, fun fact, because it's kind of a consequence of all of this, although it's minor in the grand scheme, there is an approval rating for Biden, which is now at its lowest point so far of 49%, which I find interesting.
I think 49% is even high.
It
No
is,
lie.
but it's considered its lowest for him since taking office, and at the moment it
Sure.
doesn't look like it's going to go up anytime soon. There are, by the way, there is some. I've got an article here from the BBC that he did at one point blame the Afghan army, and he blamed Donald Trump before then taking responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt the optics of what he'd said did him no favors, nor his approval rating any favors.
No, of course not. No, right now I think honestly what's killing him is the optics. It looks awful. Like, it really looks fucking terrible.
Agreed. There isn't a version of this where this would look good either.
No, and I don't think anybody is ever going to say that it was good. I believe it was Reuters chaos, by the way.
538.
538. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I've literally I've just looked at the article. I will archive it and put it in the chat for those who are interested. Yeah. Oh, it was archived a while ago. Cool.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure it was.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Oh, the $2,000 per person to get them home. Did you hear about that?
No.
I'd briefly noticed that as an article, and I wished I grabbed it. My attention was elsewhere. I do apologise. There was a claim that U.S. citizens and other people being brought to the U.S. were going to be charged, well, $2,000 to get home. I mean,
I think that would be the most atrocious thing I've ever heard.
One hell of a way of getting your stimulus check money back.
Oh, fuck off. Yeah, you're right.
Seemed oddly, it's an odd number, very specific one. I can't help but wonder where it came from.
True.
Not that you'd ever make back that kind of money. It's a stupid, obscene amount of money to spend that didn't even go to the people anyway.
Correct.
That's a discussion for another day when it resurfaces.
Oh, it's just bad.
It's just a meme now. It's just.
I mean, yeah, of course, but it's. Oh my god, I hate our government.
What
so much.
would you like to see in the next 7 days, when it comes to the people of America that are stuck over there? What would you like to see happen? What would you like to see Biden do?
Secure the airport.
Yep.
First. Then I want the perimeter to be established not by the Taliban, but by American and British troops, and France troops and Germany's troops, because this was the NATO mission.
Yeah. So I've got written here that currently they do hold the airport-ish. Oh, hang on, I need to re-archive that.
The inside.
But they can't do the outside without escalating, because the Taliban have a bunch of checkpoints, and so they don't want to come to blows, which I get. I don't want the issues in getting people up, but the checkpoints don't help them get their people. I'm going to delete that.
Right. We need to establish a safe channel by Americans or by NATO allies devoid of Taliban. However, I get why it is sometimes more strategically important to work with your enemy than to just outright aggress against them.
Mm-hmm.
So, that being, for example, if you can negotiate, say, okay, Taliban, I would like you to let Americans through your checkpoint so that we can get them home, so that we can get them out of your hair. And they go, okay, that sounds like it helps my end goal of getting Americans out of Afghanistan. Okay, we'll play that game. If instead what we did was, okay, actually, we would like it if, fuck you, get out of our way. We're going down with armored vehicles, with drones, and we're going to clear it by force. Okay, we might have an issue because now, we've aggressed on them, and if we're going to create that safe channel, you can pretty much expect that safe channel is now going to be littered with IEDs.
Yeah.
Which doesn't solve our problem.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't make the situation...
It exacerbates the issue.
It 100% does. This is a very difficult situation. So when it comes to what would you like to see Biden do, what do you want to see him do?
I would like him to put on his big boy pants, and instead of negotiating from a place of weakness, saying, oh, Taliban, please will you do this, say, listen here, you are going to let our people through, and if you don't, we're going to make sure that you, your people, your entire fucking country is made a fucking pit of glass. Now, of course, that's not necessarily a good diplomatic solution, but I like it.
I mean, turning an entire country into glass, that sounds interesting.
That's a nuke, by the way. That's a
Oh,
bad
I
nuke.
fully got. I knew exactly. I love that. So hypothetically, for four. Well, not the first part isn't hypothetical at all. For 4 years, people said that Trump would be the one to pull the trigger.
Mhm.
But you're positing well, fictitious, I guess, idea that Biden would be the one to do it, or threaten
I
to do
want
it.
him to. I want him to.
There
'Cause
we
don't
go.
get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I don't like Biden as a president. However, I am forced to deal with him because he's my president. I need him to act with a certain gusto, with a certain amount of,
Ruthless aggression.
strength, with a certain amount of strength that actually will make our enemies think twice about fucking with us. But if we're constantly playing this, oh, please, if you do this, it'll be a lot nicer than if you didn't. Like, we could be doing a whole lot fucking better. Because the Taliban, I genuinely believe, was actually afraid of Trump. I don't know if they are afraid of of Biden. In fact, I'm pretty sure they're not.
So, what do you think is going to happen this week then?
I bet you this week we are going to get more of the Americans out. We're going to try to get any of those people who are holding any of those whatever the fuck they're called.
Checkpoints?
No. The people who are holding the SIV cards.
Oh, I don't know what those are.
So that's our method of saying, hey, do this for us. We'll give you rights as a fucking citizen.
Oh, like repatriating or something like that.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. Or patriating. Bargaining chip? Oh, whatever. I know what you mean. Mm-hmm. Do you think that we'll be able to secure, get these people out? And what do you think happens after?
Do you think, no. Yes. Yes, I think they'll be able to get Americans out. No, I don't think they'll be able to get Afghanis out.
What do you think will happen next?
We'll have to find a way to get Afghanis out. Which is going to be a bit rough. And I don't know how well we're going to do that.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be an easy one to do, I'm afraid.
No. No, not so much.
Because they think they control them.
Yeah.
What about their president? Do you think he could ever get back? Or do you think he's just going to...
No, okay. So about their president, I fundamentally think that when the president got elected, I bet you that he made a deal with the Taliban that when they showed up, in exchange for like safe passage and immunity from the rest of them, he would be allowed to fuck right off and never hear from them again.
Coward.
I bet you that president signed away his fucking life essentially to get free passage out of this turmoil that has been caused in Afghanistan. I'm willing to bet on it. We'll never find out, but I'm fucking leaning into it hard.
It would surprise me if one day we did find out, but it'd be very difficult to get the evidence because...
Well, we
Taliban's
might
known
find
for
out that he
destroying
gets
history.
Trotsky'd in Mexico.
Well, that's... Well, he's in Dubai, isn't he?
I don't know where he is.
Yeah, he's in Dubai, I believe. Doesn't matter.
But no, I bet you
is,
that is exactly what fucking happened.
What I meant was the Taliban are known for not keeping hold of information. If anything, they're renowned for destroying history, so they'll destroy evidence against them.
Oh, sure. I believe they've already started.
That doesn't surprise me. And of course, getting rid of journalists as well makes sure that nobody can tell you what's going on over there. How very North Korea.
Handy. I always love it when our journalists don't do journalism.
I wonder what that's like, huh?
I don't know. You want to ask the BBC?
I'd rather not. Defund the BBC. Defund the BBC. Oh, hang on. Do they have some journalists over there that's stuck there still?
So I know that CNN, Fox News, I basically every major player has something going on over there.
Biden will recognize the Taliban government. What do you think about that statement from the YouTube chat?
Weakness.
If that happened, that would be the ultimate kick in the balls. Especially for the last 20 years, for that to become a thing. Also, government, Taliban, oh my life.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you mean...
Regime.
Yeah. Like, not government. It's not a government. It is a totalitarian overreach by an extremist group. I don't know why anybody calls it anything different.
I would never recognise them as a government. They were not elected to be one, therefore they are not one. But that's just me.
That is part of the rule of this bullshit. Yeah.
Certainly is bullshit. China will recognise Taliban before Taiwan. Yeah, more countries are.
Okay. Yeah. So the China aspect of this is fucked up.
Okay, I want to know more in a second, but I just want to point out China recently expelled some ambassadors from, I think, Lithuania because they recognise Taiwan and have an embassy for Taiwanese people. I think that's... Is it Lithuania? I think it was. I thought that was hilarious. And then China said to them, you should be careful with who you choose to align yourself with or be friends with.
My response to that was, what do you mean? It's just China, right?
Exactly. It's just not, they just gave you 2 embassies. What are you talking about?
Yeah, and now China has 2 embassies.
Yeah.
Really.
Although, you know.
Or are you telling me that in fact Taiwan is another place?
And
I would want this fucking public.
Yeah.
Public shit posting. Let's do it.
Oh my god, that'd be hilarious. Just go on our Twitter and just be like, I stand Taiwan or something.
No, fucking. Well, I mean, yeah, I do, but, no, I want like, okay, you know how people will talk about like the age of new age politics and whatnot is about like, fucking like shit posting and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want that.
That'd be nice. I'd like to just see a parliament where instead of responding to questions, they respond with memes. I'd like to see that happen. But I also want to see your president or any president put under, like the same kind of scrutiny our prime minister is. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
So China, what's China's stance on this?
China's stance on this is basically, wow, look at America. Look how well they treat their allies. You know, if Taiwan ever, if we ever fight Taiwan, y'all are fucked. And basically, that's how they've gone. They've gone out and started running fucking more drills in their in Taiwanese airspace, which is just one of the biggest fuck yous ever.
That is a big FU. And I'm surprised that they're still allowed to go. Well, I'm not actually. Beijing Biden is known for his support of all China. None of these dissidents like Taiwan, Hong Kong, Tibet. No. No.
But no, yeah, they have fully taken on the propaganda warfare, and they are just basically shit posting, about America right now and how poorly we treat our allies.
Yeah,
it's pretty. Honestly, it's pretty savage. But I'm kind of wanting somebody in the State Department to give them the what for in more of a meme sense.
Mm-hmm.
God, that would be so fucking funny. and I want it so bad. I want them to just start shitposting. It would be beautiful.
Is it too much to ask? Bang.
What do you mean?
For shitposting.
No, it's not.
We deserve it.
I don't think so. I think we do deserve it. I think, well, our information warfare is going to be really boring if the shitposting isn't good.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm just kind of waiting for the Department of fucking International Relations to start saying, I see that you've ignored Japan for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Has that rape of Nanking still got you down?
Spicy.
And I just want them to keep shit posting and just like atrocities, because they fucking will do it to us.
They do.
They'll fucking like call out our atrocities. I'm like, fuck them. Let's just burn their shit to the ground too.
I see no problem with that. Tit for tat. Why not?
I mean, we're not better, okay? Just because we do things hidden does not mean that we are better as a country.
But also, not responding doesn't make you better either.
Correct.
So, fuck 'em.
Exactly.
Okay.
Ugh! I'm so sick and tired of all the BS, honestly.
It's been calamity, I guess, in the Middle East. This has been quite a nasty week politically. UK's supposed to be in recess, so we're not really meant to be doing much in the way of politics. But they're all brought back just to rail on the foreign secretary because he hasn't got our people out fast enough. I don't know how you're supposed to do this fast. Even if you knew they were coming, how are you going to do it? Just how? But all right.
Good question.
I have nothing really more to add, though, to be honest. I don't know if you do.
I do not.
Then you should probably sign off.
All right. Well, do you have anything to shill at least?
On the Omegon Plays tomorrow evening, I will be streaming Euro Truck in my horrible orange Iveco truck.
Okay.
It's probably linked in the link tree. I don't know if it's not. If my lovely, lovely mod is still here, can you please show me? If not, sad face. What about you?
No, I have nothing to shill. As I've previously stated, I don't do content apparently.
At least you're honest.
Yeah, I mean, apparently not. It's a time thing, really. But anyway, yes. Without that, then I'm going to say thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you for all those who hit the like button. If you didn't hit the like button, fuck you. But that's just me. And for everybody else, we will see you here next week. And I think that's it. I think I nailed everything, right?
You have indeed. Congratulations.
All right. Well, then, thank you for joining us. And say goodnight, Meg.
Good night, Meg.